Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about another topic of ecology, that is character displacement. In the previous topic we have discussed about habitat, what is habitat, what is niche, and how niche habitat is of niche two types, that is fundamental niche and realized niche. And we have discussed what are the characteristics of fundamental niche and realized niche. If you have not watched that video, I request you to first watch that video, that part, and then come to this part, because it is somewhat related. This topic is somewhat related. To understand first what is character displacement, you need to understand first what is habitat, what is niche. I can give you a small recap regarding what is habitat. Habitat is the area where an organism lives. Suppose you can say this house is my habitat because in this house I live. Then what is niche? Niche belongs to the functional area of an animal where it performs all its activities, that from reproduction to survival, everything. Let's say the forest is the habitat of many animals, but every animal has their own niche where they perform their activities. For better understand, let's say, suppose this whole house is my habitat because this whole house I live, but my room is my niche where I perform all day-to-day activities. So this is the difference, or you can say the meaning of habitat and niche. For detail, you can watch that part of the video. So let's discuss first what is character displacement. So let's begin. Okay. So before that, we need to understand that this character displacement term was given by William L. Brown and E.O. Wilson, scientist, and scientist name is somewhat asked in exam, so you need to consider this also. And what is character displacement? When does this character displacement occur? According to them, the ecological character displacement is driven by competition. Before that, I have shown you that in the fundamental niche is that area where the area is larger as compared to the realized niche. Why? Because in the, as you remember, we have discussed already that in the fundamental niche there is no competition occur. So the area is more wider as compared to realized niche. Whereas in the realized niche there is a competition between the two spaces because they share same food resources and also the same place. That's why there is a competition between the two spaces. That's why for this purpose another term was introduced by two scientists, and they told that when does this term character displacement occur? Character displacement terms occur when there is competition. Suppose two species are in a competition. Then what they happen? They try to change their characters so that they can adjust individually. As the term character displacement is commonly used, it is refers to morphological difference during competition. The two species were living in same together, they were having a tough competition, so they decided, or in order to survive in that area, they need to make certain changes among themselves so that they can survive. That is known as character displacement. That is, they made certain morphological differences among themselves so that they can individually or they can peacefully survive among themselves. And character displacement is the situation in which when two species that live together in the same environment, as we have discussed in the realized niche also, they were living in the same environment. So you know that living in the same environment, having the same resources, it is very difficult to survive, both the organism A and B. So in order to clear that, in order to have certain solution, this character displacement term was seen. How does the two species live in the same environment? Always there is not elimination method does not take place every time, because we have seen that in the same environment also, in the same trees also, different organisms live. How do they live? Because they adapt themselves in such a way, they make certain morphological changes among themselves in such a way that they can live peacefully in the same environment. Okay, so that their characteristics does not overlap among themselves. this is known as character displacement. Displacement means shift. They change their characteristics, or you can in simpler words, they change their morphology in order to survive in the same environment peacefully. For better understand, we can say in detail what is the cause of character displacement. Character displacement is a process of evolutionary divergence of coexisting species. Coexisting species means species living in the same area, where they have the competition for resources, that is food, and as a result of which they showed this type of behavior, that is character displacement. So character displacement, you can say, is an evolutionary divergent event. What is meant by divergence? Means they separated. They first originated from the same place, but they started showing different morphological characteristics so that the one species does not bother the presence of other species. Okay, and as a result of this, we can say there is minimum overlap among the niche of the two species and avoid competitive exclusion. What is competitive exclusion? When two species live in the same area, then they have a competition among themselves as they share the same food resource. So one species out means they compete, or one species eliminate other species. To avoid that, this character displacement took place. Okay. Two organisms were living in the same niche, as I have already told you. And what are the two things that is taken to be considered in when we say about character displacement? If two species live in the same niche, the character displacement will be high. Why it is necessary that this two species should be living in the same niche? Because if they are living in a different niche, then this term will not be come across. This term, that is character displacement, will be not coming into picture, because character displacement comes into picture or comes into consideration when two species lives in the same environment. And living in the same environment, they undergo certain morphological differences, character displacement. That's why they do not show the niche overlap. So that's why this is written here, that if two species live in the same niche, the character displacement will be high. If they will be living in a different niche, then the character displacement term will not only come into picture. So this thing is needed to be clearly understood, because in exam it will be asked that if the two species will living in a different niche, then whether the character displacement will be shown or not, is high, low, medium, or it not be shown. So remember that if two species are living in a different niche, then character displacement will be low. And if they are living in the same niche, then only the character displacement will be high. Because this term came into consideration when competition came, when the competition factor came into existence, then only we came across this character displacement. The two scientists come across this thing. Then they made research that how can every time in the same environment two species exist. Because if every time competition takes place, one species will outcompete another species, then we will leave only with the few species. Isn't it right? So that's why they made certain research and found out that this term, that is character displacement, is occurring so that within a same tree also, you can see one tree, in the same tree there are different branches. One organism will stay in one branch, they will have different characteristics as compared to the middle branch, as compared to the lower branch. As a result, living on the same environment also, they can adjust easily. That is all about character displacement. By this image or by this graphical representation, you can be better clear. So first you can see before character displacement, this species 1 and species 2, their niche were overlapping. As you can see here, their niche were overlapping. Wait a second. Okay, this is the niche. Okay, the niche were overlapping among themselves, that is species 1 and species 2, the niche were overlapping. But after character displacement, you can see that there is no niche overlap and species 1 and species 2 can live peacefully and separately. So this is the character displacement. For avoiding competition, to avoid competition among the two species, they started arising, or avoid competition, character displacement arised. If every time there is competition, then one species will die and one will survive. So as the case, then the diversity of the species will gradually decrease. So for that only the character displacement arises for avoiding competition. This point is needed to be very important. To avoid competition, this character displacement term came into consideration. So this is all about the character displacement topic. I know this is a very short topic, but very important for exam point of view. And all these three topics, that is what is habitat, what is niche, and what is character displacement, is a very important part of ecology. As well as the types of speciation, I have also made video regarding what is speciation, what is the types of speciation, allopartic, sympatric, parapartic, peripartic. You can also check out those videos. Apart from that, I have made many videos regarding different sections of zoology, evolutionary biology, ecology, genetics, molecular biology. I have made separate playlist regarding that topic, so you can consider checking also that. And if you find my videos fruitful and find very helpful in learning and clearing your concept, do share among your friends.